Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. Hello, I'm Dr. Mike. All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Telehealth Tuesday. This is your go-to podcast for modern insights on healthcare and wellness solutions. I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt, and tonight you are in for an amazing show. Absolutely. But first, I want to let you guys know that Telehealth Tuesday can be viewed on multiple platforms. Number one, we want to let you guys know about Dr. B TV. That's DOCTOR, the letter B, as in boy, TV. That is our YouTube channel. Please make sure to follow, share, tag, like, and most importantly, click subscribe. Now, the other thing is, we want to make sure you guys know, I see my frat brother there, Frank Terry, 8506. Kristen Victoria, hello. Thank you to all of our new people that are joining. Also, Good Faith Wellness Center. I want to let you guys know, Good Faith Wellness Center is taking new patients. That's right. So, if you have insurance, now listen to this. If you have insurance, that's great. We take all insurance carriers. If you don't have insurance, it's still great because we have a plan for you. So now, I want you to make sure you know that this is not actual health care insurance. So do not show up at your local hospital at Baptist or St. Dominic's or Merritt or UMC and saying that I have the Bookhardt Care or the Good Faith Wellness Center plan, because you will be turned away. I'm just letting you know. But this is something that we want. We did this plan because we want to make sure to keep you out of the hospital. Okay, that is the point. We want to keep you out of the hospital. So $99 a month. For individuals, that means unlimited visits to Good Faith Wellness Center to see Dr. Bookhardt, unlimited visits. So, for example, if you have high blood pressure, hypertension, if you want to come in every single day, Monday to Friday, come on in. You can come and sit on our comfortable massage, heating, and cooling chairs and just hang out. We don't advise it, but you can do it. So we want to make sure to see you. We like to have 1 and 2 week follow-ups to see you often to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. We're doing what we need to do to keep you healthy and safe and out of the hospital. Okay. 2 people, that'll be $179 a month. A family of 4, $229. But especially $99 is cheaper than your cell phone bill. So make sure, and all of you guys that went to Essence Festival or that love Jay-Z and all that and pay all this money to see artists, surely you can make the same investment into your health, okay? All right, we got some of that out the way. We want to let you know that tonight is going to be a special episode because the guest is actually you. You are the guest. So we want to let you know that in this Telehealth Tuesday, there are no scripts, no featured guests, just you and me. That's right. This is your opportunity to ask questions that you've always wanted to ask a doctor, but never had the chance to, whether it's about your health, family, medications, prevention, or something that you've even seen online. Tonight is all about real conversations and real answers. Let's learn from each other because your question could help someone else watching tonight, okay? So I see some people that are getting settled in there. You guys come on in the room. We're going to play this commercial one last time since we talked a lot about Good Faith Wellness Center, and literally 29 seconds, we'll be right back. 29 seconds. Let's go. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. All right, we wanted to just put that in there for all that have joined. That was our commercial for Good Faith Wellness Center. So again, welcome. Hello to you. We're going to get right into it. I see a couple new visitors. My lovely mother's there, Dr. Lily James. Thank you for always being so supportive, Mom. All right. One of the first things we wanted to talk about with you guys, and again, I want you to know that this is interactive. This isn't just for me. It isn't just for whoever else. It is for you. So I want to know from the audience what's one health question that you've always wanted to ask a doctor but just never did. I want to put that out there and give you guys a couple seconds and see who might have a question about that. One question you always wanted to ask a doctor but never did, and we'll put that on. Um, okay, there we. All right. No, but I guess we have a guy who's stuff official, P PR. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome, welcome anyway. Thank you for joining us. So that's the first. The question is one thing that you've always wanted to ask a doctor, but never did or never got a chance to. One of the things that some patients want to know about. Hey, um, really, what is hypertension? Is that the same as high blood pressure? I know some of you might say, man, that sounds like such an elementary question, but it's a reasonable one. And yes, it is the same. We diagnose hypertension supposedly on two separate visits. But if somebody comes in and saying, I've been having headaches, they're symptomatic, they've had high elevated blood pressures in the past, then a lot of times just clinically and just doing as we do in real life, because real life is different from the textbooks and the guidelines. In real life, a lot of times we will go ahead and treat right then. Okay. There's never any right or wrong answer. Just like with diabetes, some people say, well, when you start somebody on metformin, when you start someone on insulin, there are certain things, there are actual answers to that. But then there are those of us that just from sheer experience, we know what's going to happen. We can tell if someone's going to be compliant or not, or they're not going to do the right, thing. They're going to be probably even wasting their time and hours. But nevertheless, we have a job to do to help you guys to feel better and to truly be better from the inside out. So that is the question. One thing that you've always wanted to ask your doctor but never did. We've got a couple things coming in on personal phone. People have some questions, so we're going to get to all of those very shortly. Just 1 second, guys. Let's see. Uh, okay, we're going to put some in the. Let's see. Uh, Big shout out to all the companies represented here. And if you have something that you want us to advertise for you, if you want to be a guest on the show sometimes, or if you have any other questions, please let us know. Do not hesitate. I know that Shan is coming on, Naz is coming on. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys. Um, Okay, that same one right there. So yeah, one thing that you always wanted to ask your doctor that you couldn't. Some other people, sometimes we had a young gentleman, 21-year-old guy came in, and he came in for one thing in front of his mom, but really what he wanted to know was about STD screening and HIV, things like that. And so we ended up talking to him about that. He was saying that he wanted to get screened like uh, once a month. And I said, well, unless you're frankly, a porn star or somebody who's doing high risk sexual activity, um, that is not what's recommended. What's normally recommended is once or twice per year, so annual screening and sometimes, biannual. Shan, what's going on? Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you, my friend. I'm glad to see you. We're letting people weigh in. The question is, what's one thing that you always wanted to ask your doctor but never did? And so we're talking about some things here, Shan, and everyone. You guys come on in. We're talking about a young man who came in. A lot of people are, embarrassed to talk about their sexual health, and even if it's somebody who's uh, somebody who's heterosexual versus homosexual. I know in the South, those things seem a little bit taboo. But luckily at Good Faith Wellness Center, and especially on Telehealth Tuesday, there's no topic that is off limits. And so we want you guys to feel comfortable to ask those types of things. And also, we had two episodes with Shan. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked a lot about relationships and different things and interactions, and that was male-female interactions, and that was great. We had a lot of audience participation. This is episode 101. I want to say that this is we are blessed. Episode 100. I need to see where my big brother Kanoy Brown is in there, man. Let me see if is he on there. Somebody tag him in the comments there. Let's see. I'm gonna do it myself as well. Uh, Big shout out to Jeremy Jones of Sprinkle Me by Kate King and Quali. Thank you guys for being such great supporters. Got an amazing staff over there and all the things they're doing in Pearl, Mississippi. I think they're going to keep their original location for now. They were getting ready to move to over by the reservoir, and I think they're going to keep the same location. But big shout out to you guys for that. Toya K. McPherson, what's a natural way to detox parasites? Oh, thank you so much, Toy, for that. Natural way to detox parasite. That's a great question. They've got some tonics and things like that that you can take. I would say, my buddy over there at The Herbal Blessing, he's got some amazing, just natural things that you can use. People talk about oil of oregano. You can do that. There's some cleanses, some detox, some parasite detox capsules, actually. There's some wormwood, like black walnut clover and all that other stuff. I also honestly don't deal with that too much. Honestly, it's a great question. But yeah, a lot of that herbal stuff going into GNC, you can find it. There's actual parasite cleanses for that detox. Pills and oils and things, that come in the little droppers, and you drop it sublingual, it was under the tongue. I'm not sure exactly how well those things work, and certainly we have medications that kill certain. If somebody's truly infected with that, and we've diagnosed them with that, then there are certain medications for that. But yeah, just kind of in general, if you're suspecting that, or you just want to do a cleanse and get rid of toxins in your body, then I would say going to GNC and talking with those folks. They're very knowledgeable. There's also, again, The Herbal Blessing, a good friend of mine who's over there he's got three or four locations now, and open one in Texas, but he's got something for everything: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, whatever you have. You can see him. So that's a big plug for The Herbal Blessing. So let's put that in there. The Herbal Blessing. Great questions. Let's keep them coming, Toya. Keep them coming. We're gonna keep this going. We're going back and forth to Instagram, Facebook, and also Dr. B TV on YouTube. So another question that's come in, or one of the statements that's come in. The people want to know, we want to know rather, what was the last time you had a complete physical or annual wellness exam? I know that sounds like kind of a basic, concept, but a lot of people are not, because a lot of people just simply do not have primary doctors. And you would say, well, why is that, Dr. Bookhardt? And I would say, well, I'm so glad you asked. Some people are lacking health insurance, number one. A lot of people are just not working. Some people can't afford it. Some people just frankly don't know any better, and they get all of their care through the darn ER. And this is certainly not what the ERs were set up to be. ER stands for emergency medicine. That is emergency room. The ED, emergency department. Key word, emergency. Okay. So what's not an emergency is, am I a candidate for Ozempic? Am I really pregnant? I had a positive pregnancy test at home, but I wanted to get one from you guys because it's more accurate. And that's actually not true. Um, Other things like, can you refill my blood pressure medicine, right? All of those things. So the ER and the ED, they're not created for that. What we need to do is have an annual exam by a good, thorough family medicine or internal medicine physician. And so that's what you get at Good Faith Wellness Center. But yeah, the question of like why people don't go, or when was the last time you had one? We're curious to know that, and again, there's no bad question here. We want to hear from you guys. When was the last time that you went? Shan, when was the last time you went? I don't know if you're still in there, if you're still on there, Shan. But we want to know. I know, Mom, I know you're still on there. I see a couple of new names here. I think there's a little lag period there, so I'm not quite sure who's on there. You said annual exam. Yeah, absolutely. Annual exams do matter. And I think we just don't focus on that enough. Thank you so much for that, Toya. I think we don't focus on that enough. Um, you know, like I said, a lot of times people will go, uh, to the ER for their care, and then sometimes, interestingly enough, they will even my dentistry colleagues and friends and things. They tell me that, hey, they never have a problem with reimbursement. They never have a problem with patients coming or getting new patients, because people are going. Everybody in this lifetime, at some point in your life, is going to have a darn toothache. So you're forced to go to that dentist. You're forced almost to go there and get a cleaning. Nobody wants to have brown or yellow teeth. But when it comes to treating our body from the inside, for some reason, we don't keep the same energy. Shan says, last, all right. Let's look. Let's give a round of applause for last week. Last week. Um, I'm so glad that you got that done, Shan. Um, but a lot of people, that for some reason, don't keep the same energy uh, when it comes to things on the inside. For example, treating your blood pressure, your diabetes, your cholesterol, things like that. And what they don't understand is that although it's not something on the outside, like going to the dentist where you can visibly see tartar and build up on your teeth and all that, it's what's actually more dangerous, okay, is that if you're sitting there with hypertension. They call hypertension the silent killer, right? Two keywords really: silent killer. Why is that? Because right now you could be sitting there with a blood pressure, say 185 over 130, right? And if anybody doesn't know, see, optimal blood pressure, perfect, is 120 over 80. That's like perfect, textbook. We'll let you ride on the top number, go all the way up until, with the new guidelines, 150. But say when you're at 180, 190, 200, that is an automatic. We don't even need a follow-up appointment. You are getting started on blood pressure medicine right here, right now, like yesterday. And so these are things, but if it's untreated, you could be burning up your kidneys the whole time. And if you're burning up your kidneys long enough, you'll end up going on dialysis. Or if you're uh, this is putting such stress and strain on your heart, so you can end up with backflow pressure up into the heart, and you can end up with congestive heart failure, and then also stroke, blindness. And then a lot of times this is accompanied by diabetes, especially in the South, due to our diet. And a lot of times you'll just say, especially male patients who want to be tough and ignore a lot of things, they don't mention any symptom until it's too late, until they really literally can't see. Like one patient, and then by the time he got in there, he was I tell this story all the time. I have a speech that I do called "An Annual Exam or a Trip or the Ticket to the Grave. The choice is yours." An annual exam or a ticket to the grave. The choice is yours. And the reason why we say that, and I have everybody close their eyes, and I say, you know, imagine what I said, close your eyes to the audience every time I do this speech. Imagine yourself surrounded in this just none but darkness. You try to open your eyes and you're looking around, and it's still there's no light anywhere, nothing. The air is getting thin, really, really stuffy. It's even getting hot. You might even be sweating. And then I tell the audience, okay, everyone open your eyes. And I say, that's what it feels like to be inside of a casket. And I say, without an annual exam, that is definitely where you will be going. So we have got to get on top of it. And that's why I'm saying that even though it seems so basic, annual exam, but that is so important, because you can rule out all these things that literally are killing people, especially minorities, African Americans. So that's the important, like we say, an annual exam or a ticket to the grave. The choice is yours. All right, let me get caught up on some of these comments. Thank you all so much for the participation. All right. Toya says, what's good for poor blood circulation besides walking and physical? Excellent question, Toya. So blood circulation. So one thing is, especially if somebody already has issues with that, we like to put folks on a baby aspirin at least. We want to keep things flowing. We want to try to keep the blood smooth as possible. So that's an antiplatelet drug. Platelets are what clump together to stop bleeding. So aspirin is an irreversible platelet inhibitor drug. In other words, it lessens the chance that your blood's going to clot up and get thick and clot off. We want to keep everything nice and smooth. But your question about poor circulation, walking and exercise physically is just the best. Like that type of exercise, which is walking, is the number one most recommended exercise. That is it. Okay. Now, other things you can do, I would say something like swimming if you like to get in the water, and there's no other contraindications or issues or things like that. You can definitely do that. Um, if people who like to jump rope or run or just straight up or actually get in the gym, if there's no contraindications such as heart failure and poorly controlled, like you're on dialysis and got a bunch of fluid on you, but as long as you don't have anything that would prevent you or that your doctor says no, always check with your healthcare provider during your annual physical exam. But if there's no contraindications or anything like that, then yeah, come on. But walking is definitely the best. That's number one. Shan says, should you detox before you start a new diet plan? Great question. Um, you don't necessarily have to, Shan, and you have to be careful with some of those detoxes. There's things out there called like the cleaner, which is the pill that you can get from, I guess, GNC, maybe Walmart and things like that. There's some over-the-counter stuff that's pretty good. So I would just say, when you make your appointment at Good Faith Wellness Center, we can look at the ingredients on the back. We can look at what herbs are in there, what vitamins and minerals, and then make an informed decision. I think that that's a good idea. It's a great question to start to go ahead and maybe doing a detox or a cleanse before, so you can. It's almost like starting with a new slate, a clean slate. If that's kind of what you're saying, I think that's what you're getting at. So I think it would be a great idea, especially again if there's no contraindications, if you haven't lost a lot of volume, as we say, like you haven't been vomiting or having diarrhea, if you don't already have problems with low potassium and low sodium, stuff like that. So again, and the only way you would know that is if you get blood work done, a basic metabolic panel, vitamin panel, things that we can do at Good Faith Wellness Center. I want to make sure to keep my liver checked. Yeah, another patient in the hospital a couple weeks ago here asked me about that. He said, "Can you check my loved one's liver?" And I say, "Well, when they come in the ER, most ERs do check a CMP, which is a comprehensive metabolic panel. That checks your blood glucose, which is your sugar, sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate level, all calcium, all that kind of stuff. Checks your BUN, your creatinine, and then your LFTs, which are your liver function enzyme, which is AST and ALT. So those things normally just kind of like on a broad kind of deal, they get you. Now, if you already have hepatitis or something like that going on, or liver cirrhosis, then you need further workup. Might even be a liver biopsy or an ultrasound of the liver. There's other things that need to be done, or acute hepatitis panel. You may need to see a GI doctor, stuff like that. Let's see. Hypertension and silent. Yep, absolutely, definitely. McPherson. Now, Toya, are you at the hospital? I think, Toya, are you in the medical field as well? Because I can't really see from the picture there, and I know we got a couple of new folks, but these are excellent questions. Um, let's see. Okay, yeah. Tag them all. Tag them. Tell them to come on. Toya, tag them all. I see. You done kill the people, Doc. What you mean, Dr. Rice? Good to see you. Welcome to Telehealth Tuesday. It's good to see you again, Dr. Rice. And look, I would love to. Dr. Rice, we are going to have you on here. Let's do next Tuesday. You might not already know it, but we're going to go ahead and volunteer you, sign you up right now. Next week on Telehealth Tuesday, hear me right now, folks, featuring the one and the only Dr. Amanda Rice. Give it to coming on. I hope you don't have anything important planned, because if you do, cancel it. All right. But talk to us, Dr. Rice. You said you done killed the people. I think your platform is the Tatted MD, isn't it? Please put that in the comments in the chat so we can shout you out and get some folks send some followers your way. We always want to support everyone in the community and all the great things Dr. Rice is doing, and Dr. Tim Quinn, Dr. Justin Turner. We want to give a big shout out to them. Let's put that in the chat there. Tim and Melissa Quinn. Let's see here. And also, guys, we want to also give, let's do a moment of silence for Mr. Carol McLaughlin, who lost his life. I think the investigation is still underway, so we won't make any comments on that. But his lovely wife, Ashley, I want to send up prayers and our regards and condolences to her and the family and the entire McLaughlin family and their beautiful children. So, a moment of silence for Carol. All right, amen. Prayers going up for that family and that tragic loss. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right. Nazrin, good evening. Thank you for joining. When it comes to family history and screening, test which family member's history should we be concerned about? Only immediate family or how far back? Now, that is an excellent question. That is the right question to ask. So, when it comes to family history, make sure we want to say this again to make sure it's going across on all our media platforms. Um, we've got So Gorgeous, Nakia, August 78. I don't know if you guys are still on there. I might be a little delayed on the Instagram side, but let's see. All right. Hello, everyone in Instagram world. So those are excellent questions. Nazrin says again, when it comes to family history and screening tests, which family member's history should we be concerned about? Only immediate family or how far back? So when it comes to that immediate family, first of all, let's talk about immediate family. We're talking about mother, we're talking about father, we're talking about siblings. Now, in certain cases, when it comes to colon cancer, prostate cancer screenings, we can look at aunt and uncle. Okay, anything past that is not considered immediate. Those are considered immediate. Now, so now that we've defined immediate, so that, like, for example, colonoscopy recommended at 45 years old, right? Especially African American, we're looking at that 45 years old. Every 10 years or every 5 years if you have polyps, or every 3 years, depending on what type of polyps, and depending on your history of you have inflammatory bowel disease. But that immediate family, since we define that, right? That immediate family member, if they were to be diagnosed with polyps, colon cancer, God forbid, say at 38, then you need to be 5 to 10 years before. You need to be screened 5 to 10 years before the earliest immediate family member. You see? So if somebody was 38 years old, now, your cousin and all that, first, second cousin, see, that's not immediate family. But God forbid one of your parents or your older sibling ended up with colon cancer or the precursor to it at, 42, then around 32, 35, depending on what type of cancer and all that good stuff, you need to be screened with the colonoscopy or the Cologuard, and that's a whole nother thing. There are these kits that, because a lot of people say, I don't want to have anything going up my rectum. Especially a lot of men, they're very concerned about it. They feel a certain type of way about having something about that procedure. And I say, and that's a reasonable concern. I mean, now anything beats being dead, okay, of course, but they now have things like Cologuard that's been around a few years, where you can do your own sample. You have a stool sample that you obtain from yourself, and then you would place that, and all the instructions are in the box, and you can literally drop it off and mail it via either FedEx or UPS. I forget which one, and it goes back to the facility. You can do that every 3 years, or if it's negative, so every 3 years you'll do that process, or a colonoscopy every 10 years, especially if it's negative. Okay. Then there's another test that Dr. Justin Turner, he's now with this company and a speaker for the company, and does different speaking engagements, which is fantastic, amazing, where now you can actually check and do a simple blood draw, right? You can do a simple blood draw and check for colon cancer every 3 years if it's negative. But if there's any suspicion for that, if there's any abnormalities, or there's a couple other things to look at, then you would still need a colon. It doesn't replace it, but in the right patient, right? When the right patient, the right setting, you can do these things. So great question, Nazareth. Shout out to Good Faith Wellness, and thank you. CMP, there we go. That's right, Toya. I'm a nurse and getting ready to go back and further my education. All right, thank you. Awesome. Well, we are proud of that, and good luck to you. on going back. Are you going to do a nurse practitioner or CRNA? Let us know in the chat, in the comments. All right, Dr. Rice. Yep, I'm serious now. 7 o'clock. You know, every two. You know where we are, but let us know. We want to know about the Tatted MD and where we can find you and your platform as well. Let's see. Pravis family, Ashley and I grew up. Really? Okay. It's a small world, Dr. Rice. That is a small world. Yeah, that's just really true. I think we were all shocked and floored. And even at the event that we have a trio, which will be coming up this Thursday, and that's a whole separate announcement, Cigar Thursdays. But, Justin Carter, amazing musician who's our music director. And of course, Carol played keyboards with him all over the country, honestly. And so I know that that was a big loss. And we, of course, we're there every Thursday and promote that event and the Dr. B experience. And so I know Justin was shook up and all the musicians. We had a moment of silence for Carol then as well. Check me out on Facebook. Dr. Amanda Rice, Instagram is at the Tatted MD. And I was referring to your talk about giving the people a demonstration of what it would be like. Oh, oh, you were saying that done killed the people. Well, you know what, Dr. Rice, because we have to, you have to get, my mom would always say the Lord has to get demonstrative sometimes to show us. DJ Fortress on Instagram, big shout out. I see Sean England. Shout out to you over there at the agency. So thank you all for joining us. So yeah, Dr. Rice, we have to, sometime because that's the only thing that gets people's attention. When you say something so crazy and so shocking, because then people, sometimes that's the only thing that they'll listen to. So yeah, we talk about laying there and being in a casket, and people, wait a minute, I don't want to be in no casket, and so. And then I say, okay, now are you guys awake? And so that's why we start off that way. And one of the things, so one of the other things that we wanted to talk to you guys about, do you know what's one symptom, okay, one symptom that anyone has ignored, if anyone cares to answer, that you've ignored because you thought it would just go away, right? What would you guys say is one symptom that you've ignored and you just thought it would go away? I mean, I'll start, with that by saying headache, right? And the interesting thing is that headache can be one of the first symptoms that a person has with elevated blood pressure leading to hypertension. You might just have a headache and say, what is going on? I'm having these persistent headaches that just will not let up. They won't go away. So that's why, again, when you're getting screened at an annual exam with your primary care doctor, that's why you need to come in, because then you'll have your blood pressure checked and then we'll know what that's due to. We'll know what is going on. And so that's why the headache, it sounds simple, but it can be something that could be fatal eventually. Let's see here in the comment there. All right, one other. The sharp pain above my left knee comes saying. Yeah, and a lot of people will just say, well, either I know I'm obese or overweight or this and that, and they'll give all types of reasons. Some of them are, definitely contribute to that. Our weight definitely contributes to that. Could it be just chronic arthritis, osteoarthritis from, as people might say, old age and getting, all those things definitely, they definitely happen. But, that's one of the things, you still don't want to just write it off. You don't want to just say, oh, well, that's what it is. And so important. So yeah, the sharp pain above my left knee. Thank you for sharing that. And all these things, not to just, we're not here to scare or shock people, just scare you. But look, some of these things could be nothing, could be something, or could be everything, right? And so that's why you want to make sure to come in and get all those types of things evaluated. Let's see. All right. One other thing here. The biggest health myth that you've heard that you're not sure is true. I think that's a great question and something that we want to share or we want to discuss with the audience. The biggest health myth you've heard and are unsure if it is true. That is something, I think that's a great one. And we want to pass that on to you guys, to the audience there, so that we can have some discussion on that. Let's put it out there on Instagram world. Jackie Mitchell Turner, big shout out to you. Thank you for always being supportive over at Trio when we have our networking event, our Cigar Thursdays, every Thursday from 6 to 10:30, hosted by my good buddy, Kanoy Brown, and all his antics and craziness. Um, so big shout out to him and the Trio family and Boo Rossini and all the good people over there. We'll see you on this Thursday with Robbie Carter, Justin, the wife of the Justin Carter. Robbie will be there in the building, in the place, with an amazing musical set, live band each and every Thursday. So again, that's a we'll touch base on that right in about 15 minutes before we end. But thank you all for joining us on that. So yeah, the biggest health myth. One of the things, a lot of people, they, especially in the South, they have all these different myths, and I've heard some crazy stuff. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but like putting turpentine on wounds and things like that. I don't know where the hell anybody gets this from, but if somebody knows where that comes from, please help me out. I don't know what's up with that, but that's one of the I think that's a myth that, some of these over the counter herbal remedies that are completely herbal gone wrong. So that's a myth that you can just do that and you can heal yourself. Certainly, there are naturopathic ways. We're not saying that. Again, big shout out to The Herbal Blessing. Eric Collins over there, good friend of mine who's been on the show, I think, twice. So we do, because that's what the good Lord intended from the beginning, was for that to be indeed the case. And so we certainly believe in natural healing, and but faith without works is dead. And so we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence. All right, for those of you that have just joined again, this is Telehealth Tuesday. We are here live each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time for your listening and viewing pleasure and edification. Next week, be here live with Dr. Amanda Rice, the Tatted MD, and we're going to have some amazing discussion. But tonight, you are stuck with yours truly. I guess you drew the short end of the straw. Um, I'm just kidding, but we wanted to have some really great interaction from the audience. We've had some great questions so far about talking about the myths, the things that you think are a myth in medicine. Some of the one question that we asked the audience: what was one health question you've always wanted to ask the doctor, but you never did? Something that you might be embarrassed to ask. We talked about sexual screening questions and how people, kind of come in and they'll say one thing, doc, can you check my blood pressure? But really they want to talk about something else. Or it might even be something that they feel embarrassed about, like maybe their weight, or they have a discharge from a place that there shouldn't be any discharge from. So we talk about all those, but or like when male patients will come in, a lot of times we talk about one thing, doc, hey, I've got a headache or some pain in my eye. But really, and right before we touch the doorknob, say, okay, Mr. Jones, good to see you. We call that a doorknob complaint. As soon as you reach for that doorknob to say, good, see you next time, he said, hey, I got one other thing, doc. And really, it was his chief complaint. It was the main reason he wanted that he came to visit the doctor. He just didn't want to put it on paper. And really, a lot of times it has something to do with erectile dysfunction or a problem with his penis. And so we want to let you know that there's nothing off limits. That is certainly, maybe a few people might snicker about it, or you might be there saying, oh, or smiling about it. But that is truly a serious issue. It's something that's really important to men. And once you get to be a certain age, some men are men with other risk factors, things like diabetes, and other like urological things that could be going on, contributing to it, not just old age, because you're 50 or 60 and up doesn't mean that you're going to run into those as a man. Same thing for women who need estrogen cream and things like that. but embarrassed to talk about it. And sometimes they don't even mention it to their actual OBGYN, who you would think would, handle those types of things because they may not feel comfortable. And so that's why at Good Faith Wellness Center, when you come to see us, we are the one-stop shop because you have family medicine, internal medicine, and even chiropractic medicine, who is our other uh, business partner. So whether it's chronic pain syndrome, hypertension, diabetes, or we take care of all that. We take care of the whole person. So another thing, if you could change one thing about your health today, what would it be? And I already know I want to volunteer for that one. I believe most people are going to say the one thing that I could change about my health today, the one thing would be my weight. That is the one thing. Jackie Mitchell, are you okay? I'm just seeing this. I'm sorry. If you're still on there, let me know. Let me know on Instagram side if you're still in there. Jackie Mitchell Turner. I walk 4 to 5 times a week, a brisk walk to make my heart pump and build up a sweat. After about 30 minutes, I notice my hands swell. I drink nothing but water unless I'm at Trio on Thursday. That's a good one, Jackie. Wait till I see you. That's a good one. But anyway, she said, "Why does this happen?" That's really good. Why does this happen? So the question is, I walk 4 to 5 times a week, a brisk walk to make my heart pump and build up a sweat. And after about 30 minutes, I noticed that my hands, DJ Ford, I noticed that my hands swell. So, that's an interesting one, Jackie. That's not going to be just an obvious kind of answer. And okay, I'm still here. That's one of those things I'd have to say. Well, I mean, so are you having your hands at your sides? Are they up? Are you having any kind of band around it? Like when people have phone, like some people put their radio or their iPod, whatever device or your phone that you might listen to music, and they've got it connected to the headphone. So you got something restricting. You have some kind of band on there. Are you wearing constrictive clothing, like people like to wear that sweat wear that's really compression type wear to help you sweat and hold everything in? There are a lot of things that contributing factor. But if you were to say, I just have a t-shirt on, doc, and I'm walking like regular, say yes at my sides, okay, and you don't have any constricted, clothing or restrictive clothing, then that's something that needs to, be looked into, especially if it's a significant amount of swelling. The other question is, when you elevate your hands at for a while, then or you stop walking and sit, elevate and relax, and just maybe you're sitting there in the lazy boy chair or whatever on the armrest. Does it go down, or do you have to literally massage the hand for it to go down? So those would be questions, and you need a physical exam, and that's why if you don't have Jackie Mitchell Turner and PCP, you need to come see us at Good Faith Wellness Center. Loose clothing. Okay, perfect. All right. Yeah, that's really not one specific. If it was in the legs and painful and all that, then we could do an arterial Doppler study to check the blood flow. And you'll to check the arterial blood flow and capacity in your legs. I'm sure the same could probably be done for the arms, but the swelling or the other, or looking for a blood clot. But the fact that if it goes loose, if it goes right away, I would be less suspicious of those types of things. So, yeah, that's one we would just continue to need further information. Okay, once I elevate them, swelling goes down. Yeah, it's really honestly not an indication of any specific disease process. So that's a great question. I appreciate you sharing that with us. But I think we would need to go a little bit more in depth, and we would actually need to do a physical exam, check your pulses, check the radial artery, check and see, look for any discoloration that might happen immediately. Just kind of other things to tease out with that. But definitely something that is important and is worth bringing up to your primary care physician. Let's see here. Nazareth says weight contributes to so many health issues. Yeah, and the thing is, Nazareth, that's a fantastic point, because especially in the South, and I know I've even been told I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it's my show. And so, let's get this out in the open. In the South, there's something called being big bone. That is the biggest load of crap. There's no such thing, ladies and gentlemen, about being big bone. You're just big, okay? Your bones are the same size, all right, an adult skeleton for the most part, comparing the average male skeleton to a male skeleton, right? The skeleton, all the bones, essentially the same. Same with female skeleton, female. So what changes the weight is the amount of adipose tissue and the amount of, or in other words, fat on somebody, right? There's other things to your muscle mass and all that other stuff. But when we're talking about big bone, we're normally talking about folks that are either overweight or obese. That's not popular, especially in the South. But hey, oh well. So, but going back to your point, Nazareth, absolutely. That the heavier you are, the more unhealthier you're going to be. It's if that weight is due to fat. Some people are putting on muscle, taking creatine and all this kind of other stuff and working out in the gym. You see that because muscle, weighs more than fat. So that's one caveat. But what we're mainly talking about is going to be an unhealthy person who's obese. So all of that, the more weight we have on in that particular case, and people who say, well, everybody in my family is heavy. Everybody in my family is all no, that's not okay. And especially seeing the children here with juvenile diabetes, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old that weighs just about as much as or more than an adult is ridiculous and is unheard of, and we have to put a stop to it because then it leads diabetes. We're talking about elevated blood pressure. We're talking about men issues with erectile dysfunction. All the same things. You see that the people come in for one thing, but they really are concerned about another. And the reason they have that other thing that's really bothering them, a lot of times has to do with something just as straightforward and simple as being overweight or obese. It's something that we all have to work on, okay? We're not pointing fingers, we don't want to make anybody, feel bad, but it's just something that we have to be honest and straight up about. And the only, what is it? Somebody help me out, the people you got to be honest with, right? I know three: your doctor, they say your doctor, your priest, and your lawyer. And which is crazy, but you didn't even include the good Lord in that, right? So of course, as Christian, uh, we're going to include God in that, Jesus Christ. But but at least with your humanly on people on earth that you need to be honest with, your doctor, your priest, and your lawyer. Okay, so if you can't be honest with your PCP, with your primary care provider, then you might need to get another one. Uh, you need to let your arms swing while. Yep, that's right, Mom. So that was to Jackie Mitchell Turner, which is, like I say, that's great that you're letting them swing. If it's just minimal swelling, by the way, Jackie, if you're still on there, then that's not as big of a. Now, if your hand's almost doubling in size, kind of like Marshmallow Man or something crazy, then that needs to certainly be evaluated. So that's what I say. Well, good point on that one, Mom. Can genetics play a part? You're talking about in the weight gain, Shan. You're talking about with obesity. Yeah, but to answer your question, I mean, yes. Like when you talk about a family history, like if somebody both parents are obese and all that or overweight, a lot of times, excuse me, more times than not, they might have a child who's also obese and things like that. But I mean, there's something to be said for that, but a lot of times it's kind of like nature versus nurture. Environment plays so much more of a part, in that, especially in my opinion. Because think about this: let's say if the whole family, a lot of people are just overweight, right, in the family, but then you've seen it, right, where they might have a son or a daughter who's completely skinny. You see what I'm saying? So it's not, I mean, there's something to be said for that. But a lot of times, even if the child is about of juvenile diabetes or certain things are noticed at birth during the screening, that doesn't mean you have to stay that way your whole life. When you're old enough to understand about exercise, or if they have juvenile diabetes, they're put on insulin. If you take your insulin same time every day as it's prescribed, you're watching and counting your calories, strict 1,800 calorie diet, you will, okay, lose some of that weight. You will shed some of that. So that's why I say none of us have, any type of excuses. I know it's not easy, but that's why when you come to Good Faith Wellness Center, we have a plan for you. And there are certain people that may be a candidate for Ozempic and tirzepatide and all these other things. So once you get your blood pressure check once you come in. You get screened. Once you come in, you get A1C, a lipid profile, a thyroid stimulating hormone, urinalysis. These are all the things that we do at Good Faith Wellness Center to be complete and thorough and make sure you don't have any outstanding liver disease, kidney issues, all that, that you're a candidate for the injectable drugs. But even better than the injectable, it's just like anything else. If you have surgery, you have injectable medications, whatever, you can do all that good stuff. If you don't do what you need to do, though, to start the lifestyle, which is being in the gym, or if you can't afford to and don't have time, at least walking. Someone talked about walking and aerobic exercise. That's the best thing you can do. And really, that in combination with changing our diet, being cognizant, being careful about what we put in, not eating late, elevating the head of the bed at night so you don't get reflux and all that. So many things that we can discuss when you come to your appointment, that we can help with the weight control, even without any Ozempic or Wegovy. Uh, in your weight, I know some women who run and work out, but are still thick and plus size. Yeah, and look, Shan, there are some people like you said. I completely agree that are never going to be a size 2 or something like that. It's just not possible. And even their genetic makeup, like you said, there is something that there is something to say about that. Not everybody's just stature based on their height and all that stuff. Probably never be that way unless you do something drastic like get a gastric bypass and cut out a good half of your stomach or reroute certain things internally. But certainly having to remain obese or overweight and all that kind of stuff, which is a lot of people, use an excuse. That is certainly not the case. Everybody, unless there's something crazy going on, everybody can do better, and we can get some weight loss. We've never lost at that. Not one patient that we cannot help. Nature versus nurture does play a part. Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely does. I want to give it like one more question. If anybody has a question or a comment, I would love to take one, or even we'll take two if they come in at the same time, because it looks like we are at 8:03 and out of time. I'm going to go back over to the Instagram side. Jackie says, I'm a two, you're very welcome. I'm a type 2 diabetic, but I control it with exercise and diet, not on any meds for it since I was diagnosed 3 years ago. Well, that is excellent, Jackie. Do you happen to know your A1C, or if you want to share it with us or send it to me directly? But that's excellent, and I applaud you for that. I am curious about A1C because I'd love to know where you started, or if you don't want to tell us what it is right now, maybe what it used to be, because that would be part of a big testimony. So I would love to hear more about that. Let's see. Let's see. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to hear that with A1C. And you guys know A1C is the measure of your blood glucose over the last 3 months. And so that's why when people come in and we say, oh man, you full of it. When you say, oh yeah, my blood sugar's been perfect. And then like when they come in, the blood sugar's 4, 5, 600, or even 800. Right now in the hospital, in the ICU, we have a 19-year-old African American female who just delivered her first baby a few months ago at 19, who was laid up in the hospital with DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a life-threatening complication of diabetes. You have to be in the ICU, nothing by mouth, can't eat anything. You're on a bunch of fluids, insulin drip 24/7 for at least 36 to 48 hours. It is miserable, but it's a necessary evil, necessary to treat the patient so they won't lose their life. Her A1C is greater than 13.5. It is so high that it cannot even be checked. Like, we don't even know what it is. It's that darn high. Jackie says 6.3. The highest was 6.7. Oh man, listen. You come on the Good Faith Wellness, and that is a no-brainer. That is nothing. That is easy. But shout out to you for staying on top of that. And 6.3 is excellent. Diabetes diagnosed at 6.5 or greater. So right now, 6.3, you have gone under the diabetic range, and that's technically pre-diabetes, and we'll talk about that in the next episode. But that is good work, Jackie, on that. Good work. I guess, are we going to see you on Thursday still? let us know in the comments. All right, so any going once, going twice, any takers? We'll wait another minute or two. Just want to let you guys know again, you can find us on all platforms as I do my close, and we'll wait for the last question or comment or concern. But again, Telehealth Tuesday can be viewed on multiple platforms. Thank you so much for hanging in with me for an entire hour on episode 101. Episode 101. Give yourselves a clap. So next week, again, we will be here, Lord willing, with the Dr. Amanda Rice, the Tatted MD. So make sure to bring a friend. Don't leave this good word to only keeping it to yourself. Don't be selfish. Make sure you bring someone, just like when you go to church, bring someone with you. Next week, again, Dr. Amanda Rice will be with us. With that said, we hope you will join us. We love the great audience participation we've had. Thank you so many wonderful people that are here to support us each and every week. Shout out to each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe. It's good to follow, share, tag, like, but make sure to subscribe to Dr. B TV, DOCTOR, the letter B as in boy, TV. If you have a story or testimony that you want us to discuss or talk about, you can DM us or place it in the comments or email us, goodfaithwellnesscenter@gmail.com. And so we would love to hear from you. If there's any suggestions, comments, or even concerns, let us know. God willing, we will see you next week. I'm going to check one last time for anybody else. Thank you. All right, 42. Sonia, it's good to see you. We're just ending, Sonia, so I don't know if you had any question, comment, concern. If you get it in before we run the commercial. If not, just make sure to DM us or send it to the email account. But otherwise, God willing, we'll see you next week. Always on a Tuesday, 7 p.m. right here Central Time. Have not missed a beat. Thank you to the good Lord for keeping us healthy and strong for 101 episodes. And just, 3 more episodes, that'll be a solid 2 years straight that we've been here with the program. And no matter where yours truly is in the world, we've been able to run the program from there. We don't want to miss a beat. That is our dedication and commitment to you, good people, to our community, how we give back in this ministry. No one's compensated. None of the guests are. So just please remember that. Help us to share it. Always forward the flyer if you ever see it. We really appreciate it. And so, again, we'll see you, God willing, next week. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today, and remember, true wealth begins with good health.